this is a watercolor pencil set, and as you can see, they look just like regular pencils. So they need to be sharpened the same way. And the great thing about them is you can draw more precisely with them. So let's just kind of give you an idea of what they can do. So just like a regular color pencil, the harder you press, the darker it will be. And then the lighter you press, the lighter the color will be. And you can add more and you can have less. And you could do an entire drawing like this. So you could do an entire drawing with these as dry pencils and then add water to them later. Same as before, we have our pencil, or we have our brush, and we have our water cup, and I have a paper towel, which happens to be the same paper towel as before. And now I am going to show you the magic. So clean water, and then it's just like waking up the palette of paints. And you can actually, once you get to this point, you can do a little, add a little texture with the water. And if I let that sit, although it is a little tiny puddle right now, if I let it sit, it will start to dry, and you'll see kind of like this edge on it. And then the area where there's less, you can almost brush out the pencil lines. This reminds me of those coloring books that I used to have when I was a kid, where it would be a color, but then you had to add water to kind of activate it. I don't know if anybody else had those. If you did, you can reminisce about it with me in the comments. So something cool here is that you can always mix them. Another way that people use these is once the water is down, they draw in the water, and that also it makes like almost feels when you're drawing through it like like chalk, but it is nice and dark, and it like basically wets the tip of the pencil, which I guess here I just did. I guess that too, like you can add a lot of color that way. And then if we paint this, it mixes these colors. And now I have kind of a pink and blue mixture there. And it's really starting to blend. This is still pencil. That's my purely pink. And this is my pencil straight into the water. And all of this can then be kind of like manipulated. So if you were drawing something that needed like a little texture in it, maybe like a surface of something, or if you were doing an abstract piece and you wanted some of it to be pencil, some of it to be water, there's so many possibilities with these. The really cool thing is they come in all of these colors, plus there may be larger sets. This is a set of 24, and they last a long time because you don't use a ton of it at one time, although if you were doing a big piece, they might take a while. I was going to say one's missing. And they're not in color order, which is really very sad. So that's our watercolor pencils. Next, I'm going to show you something you can do with the watercolor pencils. Okay, so I made this card actually quite a while ago. There's a little paint there, but we'll take care of that. And I started to use the watercolor pencils to fill it in. And so one of the really cool things is you can easily paint a gradient with these in a way that you can't really with, or you can with paint, but this is a really small space. So I sketched the word thanks on there. It's in pencil. And by the time this is finished, you won't really see that anymore because I will paint right up to it. And this all right here is dry. And so what I did was I put my colors in order in the way that I wanted them. So the red is in there, and we'll add the orange, The yellow's already drawn in. And I am overlapping these a little bit in the inside the letter. And I'm not actually really focusing too much on how I've colored this in because it's going to be painted anyway. So you can see the rainbow gradient already. Now let's paint. So for this, I'm using a tinier brush. This is not technically a brush that is made for watercolor, but it's small and it's one that I have. So, and actually I am going to get another brush. I decided to go and get a teeny tiny little brush because I would like to keep this very controlled inside this space. So there's my paper towel. I'm going to start on this S because I haven't painted this side at all yet. And so the key here is to not get too much of one color into another. So as you paint areas that are close to each other and overlapping, that's when you have to clean your brush and wipe it off, so that like here I don't get too much orange in the yellow. And now as I go up to the red, where the red and orange meet, that's the time to be careful. And I'm not even adding much more water. I have like drips of water on the brush and they're running down and it's working to my favor. And now I'm going to start in the green and pull that down. If you were doing this with paint and not pencils, you could fill in the entire letter with water first and then start to paint, because then the water helps control where the paint goes. But with the pencils, you have to be careful with that. Although water tends to pool, so you can use that pooling effect to your favor as well. All right, and then that's it. You can't overwork it too much or it'll get too muddy as I overwork it. Okay, let's stop that. All right, and then I want to show you here, because this part right here is dry. And so I'm going to have to I might need the green pencil to add a little bit of green in here, just to get this to kind of back in action for me. Okay, so I've filled in all of the letters with water and the paint is spreading around and doing what it does. And I was trying to fix this edge and I had a drip of water on there and it blended down. That's okay. So this is still too wet to do anything else with, but one thing that I can do is I can start to think about what I will do around this. And I think what I'll end up doing is kind of like leaving a space, but outlining this and then doing some fun watercolor around the outside. And then if I use, like right now I'm using purple, if I use a darker color around here, it'll cover up this little orange flub that happened. I'll go up in here a little bit and then I can use the water to spread that around. So I will post a picture of this when it's done. And I hope that you can enjoy making some watercolor. Thank you. Thank you for watching my watercolor technique and part of a card video, and I will be sure to finish this up and then share it with all of you. So thanks. Thanks for watching my videos. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon down there to subscribe and put a likes for me. It always helps and allows me to make more videos for you. Thank you.